Be me, Ashley, 28, HR and Culture Manager at Thread AI. I've been here since we were 12 people crammed into a WeWork with dreams bigger than our Series A funding. Now we're 150 employees, Series B secured, fancy office with a living wall and kombucha on tap. I shaped this place. The pronoun badges, me, the equity workshops, me, the inclusive hiring panels that actually work, all me. So when our CTO stood up at Monday's all hands and introduced our new senior DevOps architect like he was the second coming, I paid attention. David Morrison, 34, MIT grad, 12 years at companies I'd never heard of, the kind of boring enterprise places where people still use Skype for business. He stood there in a plain blue button-down, gave a tight nod, didn't smile. Our CEO gushed about how lucky we are to have him and how he'll stabilize our infrastructure before Series C. Fine, we needed someone technical. I got it. Then CEO mentioned the mandatory DEI workshop Friday. All new hires, please make sure you're signed up. I noticed David didn't react. No nod, no note-taking. Just stared at the wall behind CEO's head. I told myself it was nothing. Friday afternoon, I'm setting up the conference room for Inclusive Leadership Foundations. 18 people signed up, good turnout. I've been running these quarterly for 2 years now. They matter. People always tell me afterward how much they learned, how they never thought about things that way before. I checked the sign-up sheet at 1:58 p.m. David Morrison, status, declined, reason, conflicting priority. I feel this flash of irritation. No one declines my workshops. Even our CFO makes time. I run the session. It goes well. Lots of engagement, good discussions about unconscious bias and allyship. But I keep glancing at the empty chair where David should be sitting. Monday morning, I'm in the kitchen making my usual oat milk latte when David walks in. First time I've seen him up close. He's tall, like actually tall, 6'2" maybe. The salt and pepper thing is starting at his temples. He's making black coffee in one of our ceramic mugs, moving efficiently, checking his phone. I walk over, friendly but direct. Hey, I'm Ashley, HR and Culture. Noticed you couldn't make the workshop Friday. Totally get it if you were overwhelmed with onboarding. I can do a one-on-one catch-up if that works better. He looks up. His eyes are grey, tired. Appreciate it, but I was dealing with the database migration. Found some pretty serious vulnerabilities that needed immediate attention. Did you need something specific from me? The dismissal is polite but absolute. I keep my smile. Well, these workshops aren't really optional. They're part of our culture here. Everyone participates. I'll check with my manager about priorities. If there's a policy document, send it over. He walks out with his coffee. I stand there, mug in hand, feeling like I just got patted on the head and told to run along. That afternoon, I pull up his LinkedIn. MIT, obviously. Worked at Oracle for 4 years, then some cybersecurity firm I've never heard of, then a finance company. His profile picture is from 2019. His summary is 2 sentences about infrastructure security. No pronouns, no cause ribbons. His Slack profile is just his name. No emoji, no he, him, nothing. I tell myself I'm just doing due diligence, but I also notice that he wears the same rotation of button-downs. Blue, white, grey, repeat. That he brings lunch from home in a plain container. That he sits in the back corner of the engineering pod with headphones on, and when I walk by at 2 p.m. to use the good coffee machine, he doesn't look up. I've been at Thread AI since it was nothing. I pushed for the culture we have. I fought for the equity budget when we could barely afford office snacks. People respect me here. People listen. This guy acting like my work is an inconvenience? It's infuriating. 2 weeks pass. I add David to 3 Slack channels. #DEI discussion. #allyship resources. #thread social justice. Standard for all employees. He doesn't post. Doesn't even react to anything. I notice he's barely on Slack at all, just DMs and the number engineering critical channel. I send him an article via DM. Great read on text diversity problem. Thought you might find it interesting since you're new to the startup space. 6 hours later. Thanks. That's it. Just thanks. I start a private Google Doc. Cultural integration notes, new hires, Q3. Under his section, I write, did not attend mandatory DEI workshop, conflicting priority per employee. Low engagement with culture building channels. Has not completed inclusive language training module, 2 weeks overdue. Does not participate in office social events. It's normal HR tracking. I'm doing my job, but I also check the doc 3 times that day. Add timestamps of when he arrives, always 7:30 a.m., before almost everyone. When he leaves, varies, sometimes 6 p.m., sometimes 9 p.m. I start noticing him in physical space. The way he takes the stairs instead of the elevator, how he refills his water bottle at 2 p.m. and 4:30 p.m. Like clockwork. That he goes for walks at lunch, always alone, usually toward the Embarcadero. Thursday, I time my coffee run for 2 p.m. He's at the water station when I get there. How's it going? Settling in okay? He glances up. Yeah, good. Infrastructure's in rough shape, but we're making progress. We're doing trivia night at Zeitgeist tonight. Eng team usually goes. Good way to meet people. Got a call with the East Coast team at 6. Appreciate the invite though. He fills his bottle and leaves. I stand there, feeling stupid. Was I inviting him as HR? As a co-worker? As... I don't finish the thought. Friday lunch. I sit with Jess from marketing. We've been friends since she started 18 months ago. Both Berkeley grads, both committed to social justice, both understand why representation matters. Have you interacted with David yet? I keep my voice casual. The new DevOps guy? Oh yeah, he fixed that analytics integration issue we've had for months. Took him like 2 days? Why? I don't know. He seems resistant to engaging with the culture here. Won't do the workshops, doesn't join discussions, pretty much ignores all the community building stuff. Jess shrugs. I mean, he's just doing his job, right? Not everyone's super into the Slack activism. But that's the whole point of working here versus some corporate place. The culture, the values. Jess gives me a look I can't read. Maybe he just likes keeping work and personal separate. He seems nice enough. I feel defensive, but don't know why. That night, I'm home with wine and my laptop. Just curious about culture fit, I tell myself. I look at David's LinkedIn connections, mostly engineers, former co-workers, some college people. I click the Photos tab. Only 3. MIT graduation, 2013. AWS Summit Conference Badge, 2019. Group photo from his last company. I zoom in on the group photo. David's in the back row, barely smiling. I study it longer than makes sense. I type David Morrison San Francisco into Instagram. Nothing. Twitter, 1 inactive account from 2016. I close my laptop. This is ridiculous. I'm making sure he's not a culture problem. That's literally my job. But I know I'm lying to myself. Because the irritation I felt when Jess said, he seems nice, wasn't professional concern. It was jealousy. 3 weeks later, I'm leaving the office around 11 p.m. I usually stay late to be available when I notice the engineering pod is fully lit. CTO is there. CEO is there in a hoodie. I walk over. Everything okay? CTO barely looks up. Security audit found a critical vulnerability. If we don't patch it before Friday, the Series C lead is pulling out. David's working on it. I peer in. David's at the whiteboard, explaining something to 3 other engineers. He's in the same clothes from this morning, sleeves rolled up, hair messy. This is the most animated I've seen him, gesturing at diagrams, asking questions, completely focused. CEO notices me. Can you order dinner for the Eng team? Company card? Whatever they want. I nod. Order Thai food. Watch from the kitchen as it arrives. David grabs a spring roll while typing one-handed, doesn't even sit down. Wednesday morning, he's still there. Same clothes. I arrive at 9 a.m. and he's at the whiteboard with the CTO, both holding coffee that looks hours old. Wednesday evening, company-wide Slack from CEO, critical infrastructure work happening, Eng team is heads down. Everyone else, hold all non-essential requests. Thursday morning, I see David leaving when I arrive at 7 a.m. He looks exhausted, eyes red, stubble, moving like everything hurts. He gets into an Uber before I can say anything. Thursday afternoon, we're good. David and the infrastructure team identified and patched the vulnerability. Series C is back on track. More details at tomorrow's all hands. Friday, 4 p.m. Whole company gathered. CEO is beaming. I want to recognize the infrastructure team, specifically David Morrison, who basically didn't sleep for 3 days to save our asses and our funding. This is why we bring in senior talent. David, thank you. Everyone claps. David does an awkward halfway from his seat, looking uncomfortable. CTO adds, and I'm happy to announce David's being promoted to principal engineer and will be leading our infrastructure security practice. More applause. I clap too, feeling something ugly twist in my chest. CEO announces drinks at Coin and Candor at 6 p.m. to celebrate. The bar is packed by 7 p.m. I'm nursing wine, standing with Jess and some marketing people, trying to look engaged in conversation about Q4 campaigns. But I'm watching David at the bar with the Eng team. He looks relaxed for once, actually smiling at something someone said. 2 female engineers approach him, Priya and Lauren. Both women I consider allies. Both have pronouns in their Slack profiles. Both attend my workshops. I'm close enough to hear. Seriously though, thank you for fixing that CORS issue last week on top of everything else, Priya says. You explained it in like 2 minutes after I'd been stuck for hours. Right? Lauren adds. And you didn't do that condescending thing where you just take over. You actually taught me what was wrong. David looks genuinely modest. You had most of it figured out. Just needed fresh eyes. Priya leans toward Lauren but doesn't lower her voice. Also, can we talk about how he's actually attractive? Like, actual adult man attractive, not tech bro with a skateboard attractive. Lauren laughs. Girl, I noticed. The height? The whole silver fox thing starting? They're not quiet about it. Other people laugh. David looks embarrassed but smiles. I feel something ugly and hot in my throat. Jess notices my face. You good? Yeah. I just think it's interesting everyone's fawning over him when he's contributed 0 to the actual culture here. Jess is careful. I mean, he saved the company. That's a pretty big contribution. You know what I mean. The values, the community stuff. Ash, maybe not everyone shows up the same way. I feel patronized. I'm just saying, we built something here that actually matters, and people like him coast on being good at code while the rest of us do the emotional labor. Jess interrupts gently. I'm going to grab another drink. Want anything? I shake my head. She walks away. I watch David at the bar. Priya touches his arm while laughing. He doesn't pull away, just smiles. I imagine him looking at me like that, actually seeing me. Instead, I finish my wine and leave early. On the walk to Bart, I tell myself I don't care, but I know I'm lying. Monday, 10 a.m. My calendar shows check-in, Kevin, CEO. I assume it's routine. I walk into the conference room. Kevin's there with Sandra, my boss, director of people ops, who's usually in our LA office. My stomach drops. Hey Sandra, didn't know you were in town. Sandra's professional, but not warm. Thought it would be good to sync in person. Have a seat. Kevin starts. Ashley, you've been huge in building Thread AI's culture. That's not in question. But we've had concerns raised about boundaries. My face burns. Boundaries? Sandra leans forward. We've received feedback. multiple sources about your interactions with David Morrison. The pattern suggests behavior that could be interpreted as targeted or personal rather than professional. I'm defensive immediately. I've been documenting legitimate cultural integration concerns. He doesn't participate in... Kevin cuts me off gently. Ashley. He's doing his job at an exceptional level. He's polite and professional with everyone. The issue isn't him. Sandra continues. We have Slack messages where you've added him to non-mandatory channels multiple times after he left them. We have reports of you repositioning in office spaces when he's present. The workshop attendance issue. I checked the policy. It wasn't mandatory, and he had legitimate technical priorities. This is insane. What am I being accused of? Sandra's voice softened slightly. We're not accusing. We're addressing. You're too smart not to see how this looks. If the genders were reversed, if a male HR manager was tracking a female employee's movements, repeatedly inserting himself into her social spaces after professional deflections, what would you call that? The question hits like cold water. Kevin adds, we value you, but this needs to stop. No more check-ins with David unless there's a documented performance issue. No more cultural integration tracking specific to him. Clear? Clear. My voice barely works. Take the rest of the day. Come back Tuesday, fresh start. I make it to the bathroom before my hands start shaking. At home, I open my laptop, pull up the Google Doc, pages of timestamps, observations, notes about what he wore, when he arrived, who he talked to. When did I write all this? I delete the entire document, empty the trash. Then I sit on my couch, staring at nothing, feeling genuinely humiliated for the first time since college. Wednesday, I'm back in the office, trying to act normal. I decide the only way to prove everyone wrong is to have one normal professional interaction with David. I wait until I see him in the kitchen at 2 p.m. Just happen to need coffee. Hey, how's the infrastructure project going? He's polite, distant, good. Should have the new monitoring system up by Friday. That's great. Listen, I feel like we got off on the wrong foot when you started. I know I can be intense about the culture stuff, but it comes from a good place. Sure, no worries. I force a laugh. Anyway, some of us are grabbing drinks at Zeitgeist tomorrow if you want to come. Low-key, not really a work thing. Appreciate the invite, but I've got plans. I push. Friday then? Or weekend sometime? I know you're new to the city. He's gentle but final. Ashley, I appreciate it, but I'm seeing someone, and even if I wasn't, I like to keep work and personal pretty separate. But thanks. He fills his water bottle and leaves. I stand there holding my empty mug. That's when it hits me. He's not playing hard to get. He's not intimidated. He just doesn't think about me at all. That night, I'm on my couch with wine. Just curious about who he's dating, I tell myself. LinkedIn. His connections. There, Melissa Morrison. Same last name. Profile says content creator, conservative commentary, traditional living. I click through to Instagram. At Traditional Mel, public profile. Recent post. Homemade sourdough bread. Caption about rejecting convenience culture. Another. Why modern feminism fails women. New blog post, link in bio. Another. Photo of her and David hiking, his face partially visible. Caption. Grateful for a man who leads without apology. Something cracks in my chest. I scroll back months. Post after post about feminine energy, about letting men be men, about the myth of having it all. One from 2 months ago. My boyfriend fixing literally everything in my apartment because competent masculinity is attractive actually. Comments full of women agreeing, celebrating. I sit there, wine forgotten. I think about the CEO's office. If the genders were reversed, I think about every workshop I've run about consent, boundaries, not persisting after rejection. I think about David looking at me with polite disinterest while dating a woman who represents everything I've built a career opposing. He's not secretly progressive, he just disagrees with me. Fundamentally, and he's completely unbothered by my opinion. I screenshot Melissa's profile, then some blog headlines. Open a note. Concerns David M. Start typing. Employee is in relationship with someone who publicly posts content contrary to company values. 3 sentences in, I stop, because I know exactly how it would look. Spurned woman weaponizes HR because guy rejected her. I delete the note, pour more wine, hate myself a little more. 2 weeks later, I tell myself I stopped checking Melissa's Instagram. I'm lying. I check most mornings, learn her posting schedule, read the blog posts, study photos of David in the background, cooking, fixing things, reading on a couch. I keep a private folder of screenshots, just in case. At work, I'm professional. Don't track David. Don't engineer encounters. Say hi if we pass. He says hi back. But I watch. Thursday afternoon, I'm in the engineering pod discussing the holiday party with the engineering manager. I see David at his desk with Priya, Lauren, and Jess, all laughing at something on a monitor. David's old punk band from college, Priya explains. Their MySpace page is still up. David looks embarrassed. I was 19 and had terrible taste. You had a lip ring, Lauren points. This is incredible. Jess joins in. Wait, you were in a band? What did you play? Bass. Very mediocrely. Easy laughter. Natural rapport. The kind I used to have before I made everything weird. Jess glances up, sees me watching. Her expression is sympathetic in a way that makes me feel pathetic. I turn and leave. Friday evening. Company holiday party at a gallery in the Mission. Open bar. CEO speech about growth and values. I'm there in a new dress I spent too much on. Not for any reason, I tell myself. David's in slacks and a button down, talking with the CTO and engineers. No Melissa. Employees only. I position near the bar, watching peripherally. Kevin walks over, makes small talk. Mentions the DEI budget got approved for next year. I smile, say the right things. But I'm tracking David. 10 p.m., party's winding down. David's getting his coat. Something in me breaks. I walk over. Leaving already? He's polite. Yeah, early morning tomorrow. Wine makes me bold. Can I ask you something? Off the record? He's cautious. Okay. Do you think I'm a bad person? He's genuinely confused. What? No, I don't think about you like that at all. It's not mean. It's matter of fact. It's devastating. I feel like you think everything I do here is performative or stupid. Ashley, I don't have opinions about your work. I'm sure it matters to people it matters to. It's just not my thing. I'm desperate now. But doesn't it bother you? That the world is unfair? That people suffer because of systems and... He's gentle. I think the world's complicated. I think people do their best, mostly. I think I'm good at infrastructure security, and I try to do that well. Beyond that, he shrugs. I don't have answers. Your girlfriend does. She has a lot of answers, apparently. The words escape before I can stop them. His face changes. Not angry, just aware. You looked her up. Her profile's public. Ashley. His voice is kind, which makes it worse. I'm going to say this once, clearly. I'm not interested. Not in debating you, not in validating you, not in whatever this is. I came here to do a job I'm good at. That's it. She's everything this company stands against. You know that, right? She's a person I love who makes me happy, and what you think about that isn't my problem. He puts on his coat. If you need something work-related, email my work email. Otherwise, please leave me alone. He walks out. I stand there, coat check ticket crumpled in my hand. Saturday morning. Hungover, humiliated. I open my phone. The screenshots folder, Melissa's Instagram. I think about forwarding it to Kevin, to Sandra, anonymous account to company Slack. I draft, thought the company should know that one of our senior engineers is in a relationship with someone who actively promotes anti-feminist, regressive content online. Seems like a culture fit issue. My finger hovers over send. What would happen? They'd investigate. They'd see my history with David. They'd know it was me. They'd know exactly why. And even anonymous, David gets disciplined for who he dates. I weaponize HR policies meant to protect people to punish someone for their private life. I'd become exactly what I claim to oppose. I delete the draft, delete the screenshots, sit on my couch in my expensive apartment in a city full of people who supposedly think like me. Feel completely alone. Monday morning. I'm early, making coffee. Through the glass, I see David arrive. He's carrying 2 cups, walks to the engineering pod, hands the second cup to Jess. She laughs at something he says. They're not flirting, just friendly, easy, normal. Priya joins them, then Lauren. Casual group, talking about something work-related. David's relaxed, smiling. More animated than I've ever seen him. This is who he is around people who don't need anything from him, who don't see him as a project or problem or prize. He's just fine, happy even. I pour my coffee, walk to my desk, open the Q1DEI planning document, type, delete, type again. At lunch, I see them leaving together for food. I eat alone at my desk, scrolling job postings. Just exploring options, I tell myself. But I know what I'm really doing, looking for escape from the situation where I became exactly the kind of person I built a career calling out. That night, I posted my private Instagram story. Sometimes you realize the person you've become isn't who you thought you were, and you don't know if you can fix it or if you even want to. 3 people view it. 1 responds, my mum, with a heart. I turn off my phone and stare at my ceiling, wondering when wanting to be right became more important than being good, and whether I ever knew the difference.